The legacy of Trip to the Moon. Trip to the Moon is one of the first science fiction films ever made, and filmmakers still rave about it today, including George Lucas and many others. Even, greats. It is extremely dated for nowadays, but it is still very influential. The story is pretty simple. Many astronomers listen to a plan to get to the moon. It's a voyage to the moon. Many other films wouldn't be made if it wasn't for George Méliès's Trip to the Moon. George Méliès was a French filmmaker and is one of the top pioneers of film. He made some other great films like Astronomer's Dream. Film wasn't even an industry in 1902, of course. Not many were even made. Film was just the beginning. No one really knew yet what you could do. It took many years before a sci-fi could top this. For the next 20 years, it took 20 years at least for something to top it. Even the 1910s. The 1910s, yes, would upgrade special effects, but it wasn't that much better. There really wasn't a film that was as groundbreaking, at least for sci-fi or anything. We didn't have that. He was inspired, of course, by the book Jules Verne's Earth to the Moon. Of course, this film was also shown in the great Scorsese film Hugo. Of course, it was Trip to the Moon. As film started to grow and get better, this was the main reason for that. To this day, this film is still talked about and is one of the most groundbreaking films of all time. When I tell people to watch a film from film history, I say Trip to the Moon. This film also has one of the most bizarre moons ever. It has a rocket. When the rocket lands on the face, it looks really mad. Looks pretty weird, funny, and scary, and creepy, whatever you can say. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an incredible 100%. It shows how this film is still talked about today. Most people, even if they know it's super dated, this film is loved everywhere. Even 2001: A Space Odyssey has some things that are dated now because of all the updated NASA things, but not as dated. For 1902, this film honestly is not that laughable because no one really knew what the moon would be like. No one knew if you could breathe or anything. Many years later, it's another dated film, but Fritz Lang's Woman in the Moon in 1929, I think, was a bit inspired by this, even though it's based on a 1928 novel, for Germany, of course, because he's German as well. He had to watch Trip to the Moon, though, because it's kind of similar. Overall, Trip to the Moon created a legacy that will never be forgotten. It is the pioneer of filmmaking. Even D.W. Griffith was 100% inspired by George Méliès. I just want to thank George Méliès for creating narrative film in general, pretty much creating an industry. A legend. I love honoring the masters, and George Méliès, as many other legacies in film, George Méliès is the pioneer in filmmaking. Truly the pioneer.